From Nimio Field at Harry Grove Stadium, this is Unlocking the Keys with JJ Michalski.
Hey Keys fans, JJ Michalski here on a brand new edition of Unlocking the Keys today, as Frederick is in the middle of a 3-game series with West Virginia here in Morgantown, the first time that the Keys have traveled to Morgantown for the season. Ronan Kopp will join us today, the left-handed 6'7" pitcher on the mound for the Keys. We'll talk to him a little bit, and Macy Hill also joins us today as a special guest to talk about some of the promotions coming up for the Frederick Keys. Let's talk about how the Keys' performance on the field has been. Last Friday night, the Keys had one of the wildest games in MLB Draft League history, as both the Trenton Thunder and Frederick Keys combined for 30 runs in a 17-13 Keys loss in the game. Mason Auer went deep, as well as newcomer Zach DeZenzo from Ohio State. Great to see both of those guys hitting some home runs early in their Keys career. And the draft is just a few weeks away, as that'll come in mid-July when the MLB All-Star break comes. All these players will head off to the draft to hopefully hear their name called, so be sure to come out to the ballpark and see them before they become famous, and you can say that you saw some of the best players in the draft play this year. We're going to head to the on-deck circle where Macy Hill joins us to talk a little bit about upcoming promotions right here at Nimio Field at Harry Grove Stadium. Here we are on the on-deck circle with Macy Hill to talk about some things that are coming up. Macy, welcome back to the podcast, second time on this year.
Yeah, thanks for having me, JJ.
Well, we have a big series coming up with the Trenton Thunder this weekend, and the Trenton Thunder were here last weekend as well for Dads and Donuts and a lot of great promotions there. But what's coming up in the next couple of weeks for the Frederick Keys here at Nimio?
Well, specifically this weekend is a packed one. As you know, we've been working really hard building this promotional schedule, but this weekend specifically is going to be big. Friday night is American Cancer Society night with a specialty jersey auction. On that jersey will be names of loved ones who either have passed away because of cancer or are still fighting the good fight. And then there's also going to be a luminaires on the field afterwards, as well as fireworks, as you know. So it's going to be a really big day. The auction really helps raise some money for the American Cancer Society.
And our last jersey auction last Friday night, the Art in the Park night, that was a big hit with fans. A lot of fans enjoyed getting the jerseys from our new players this season.
It was a big hit. The artists did a really great job. It was really fun to see them in something different. So there's actually another additional one after the American Cancer Society night that we're looking forward to as well.
Well, a lot of great jersey auctions coming up, but probably our biggest promotion of the year is going to be this Saturday night. Kevin from The Office comes, Brian Baumgartner. I'm really excited about that, being an Office fan myself.
We are super excited. Securing Kevin for this season was a big get for us, and we have sold out of our VIP package. Of course, those fans that are listening who didn't have the opportunity to buy the VIP package, you can still come and wait in line to visit with, he's going to be visiting with the general audience after that VIP ends, after he throws the first pitch. But there's going to be a lot of cameos going on our video board throughout the game, as well as, of course, he's going to be throwing a first pitch.
And this isn't the first time the Keys have had an Office member come. Stanley came a couple of years ago. Some fans might remember that. So it's great to get these big names in here and to be able to have some fans interact with them.
Yes, and he's specifically super excited, especially after COVID. He's really excited to be getting out back into the public and visiting with fans.
So then heading into looking forward to a couple weeks from now, July 4th, we have a big fireworks display coming up, and also Super Splash Day makes a return here at Nimio Field.
Yes, so the 4th and 5th, the 4th being the first fireworks on the 4th of July for the Keys. So this is going to be really fun. The Keys have never had that in their schedule before where they play a game on the 4th of July, but we got lucky enough this year, so there will be fireworks, a 4th of July game, red, white, and blue everywhere. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, an even more spectacular fireworks show. And then Monday, the day after 4th of July, is Super Splash Day. That is our only noon game of the entire season. We are going to have water slides, the Big Kahuna water slide, slip and slide, water balloons. Myself and a lot of my marketing team, including you, JJ, are going to be walking around with water guns. We're hoping to have a lot of fun that day. So we're super excited about it.
Well, it's going to be a great time. Thank you so much for joining us here on Unlocking the Keys today. We're going to bring Ronan Kopp, our main interview for today, on. Macy, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Absolutely, thanks.
Ronan Kopp joining us here on Unlocking the Keys now. Ronan, thanks for coming on the podcast. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Well, we are looking forward. We've been enjoying having you in Frederick so far this season. You've been one of the top pitchers that fans want to come out to see. So going back to just where you're from and everything, tell the fans a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What's been your high school career like coming into Frederick now?
Yeah. I started high school in Arizona. I lived in California until I was 12, moved out there. I like Arizona more. It's definitely nice, hot weather, but got used to it after a few years. And then signed to Arizona State out of high school. Ended up wanting to go to go the JUCO route. Went to South Mountain Community College for a year, and then now I'm here playing for the Keys.
So playing in high school, you were the Gatorade Arizona Player of the Year. What was that like to be able to win that award? You had a under sub-1 ERA, and you struck out over 100 batters, I think. It was an absurd number for high school. What was that whole senior year like for you, being recruited out of high school?
It was great. It was actually, I won it. I won the Gatorade Player of the Year my junior year. So I won that my junior year. It was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't know it was a thing because I wasn't really like much into like awards and stuff for baseball. So I didn't know it was a thing, but when I won it, I was like, oh, this is really cool. It's a great honor. And then I was like, all right, well, now senior year, we'll try and work for it, maybe get it again. And then unfortunately got like 4 games into the season, and then COVID decided to cancel everything. So,
was there any sort of like award ceremony that your family was able to go to for the Gatorade, or was it kind of just a formal?
The school kind of just like in like a school assembly, like throughout like all the awards and stuff, and then they were like, oh, Ronan, come on down, like you're the Gatorade Player of the Year. And like I knew I was already at that point. Like I found out like a week before that, like in the morning, and then I had no clue though that I was gonna come down and like hold up like a little banner that said like Ronan Kopp, which is in the gym now. So
that's pretty cool. So being from California but moving to Arizona, where do you kind of lie with your baseball allegiance?
Probably California still, because that's really when you grow up loving baseball, is when you're really young. So I was an Angels fan for a while. My favorite number is 27. A lot of people would think because of Mike Trout, but it's actually from Vladimir Guerrero when he was on the Angels for his the second half of his career.
Okay, well, you got to work with an Angels legend throughout high school. Tim Salmon was your high school coach. What was that like to work with a major leaguer as a 16, 17-year-old?
Yeah, it was great. I got to learn a lot about pro ball and like what it takes, like not just physically but like mentally, about baseball and things like that. So getting that like extra little insight as I was getting into like college age and stuff was definitely a step up.
Were you someone like growing up that used pitching coaches or anything like that to help kind of facilitate off the field baseball and make sure that you were able to be who you are now on the field?
Yeah, I had a pitching coach when I was younger. He when I was like 12 in California, and then I moved out here and I have one of my main pitching coaches now is Luke Haggerty, who helped me a lot from the like end of sophomore year up until now, who I still work with.
Okay, cool. So off the field in high school, I mean, obviously, being a high schooler and being a top draft choice coming out of high school could be a lot for a young kid. So what do you kind of do to take your mind off of everything that's going on the field?
I tend to just off the field, I just kind of relax. I'll like talk with friends. I'll play board games with families because my family's very competitive. So a lot of board games. But by myself, I tend to just play some video games and things like that just to unwind and relax.
Do you have any siblings, or is it just you and your parents?
I have a younger sister. She is 16.
Okay, so what is the favorite family board game, and what's the board game you're best at?
The board game that's a great question. We have a lot of weird board games. We have like a Bob Ross board game. We have a bunch of weird stuff. But right now, I can't really say like a game I'm best at, but I'm really learning poker, and I'm getting really interested in that.
Is that like more so like, does your whole family play poker, or just like you and your dad?
We have once. I've got my dad a poker set for his birthday,
okay.
And then so we're trying to all learn poker and things like that.
Cool. Well, you mentioned the video games too. Do you do any sort of streaming or anything with that, and what kind of games do you like to play?
I used to when I was younger. Can't really do it much anymore. It's hard to find time because a lot of that stuff's, unless you're doing it like part-time, a lot of it's a pretty rigorous schedule even for streaming. So I tend to just play video games, and I used to do some like recording stuff when I was younger, but kind of haven't been able to have the time with that with baseball practices and stuff.
Well, moving out of high school then, and kind of just keeping your mind on baseball and everything, what was the process like for you to be recruited to Arizona State initially, and kind of what was the process like then moving out of Arizona State and moving into South Mountain?
Yeah, so the recruiting process with ASU was pretty easy. I was only talking to a few schools before that. ASU was one of the early schools I was talking to, and being in state was a big advantage for me. Seeing them, and I liked the facilities and stuff they had. So I think I took a few visits. They saw me come out and see me. They gave me an offer of like what the scholarship they thought I needed, and then kind of just went from there. Figured I like the school. I'll try and go here.
You throw the ball hard. Have you had like any teammates that are trying to hit you that like one person has really been able to like get on you, or someone that you always were able to like strike out in practice and everything?
Yeah, and we didn't, not a ton. It's nice to like strike out when like as a freshman in like a JUCO to try and like strike out some of the older guys and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But apart from that, no, because it was just kind of like, it was pretty like laid back and stuff, and I wasn't like, even in inter squads and stuff, I wasn't completely full game speed in the inter squads because adrenaline and things like that, being on a real like an actual mound and stuff, kind of wasn't really there.
Has the college experience for you basically 1 year under your belt now. Has it differed from your high school experience a lot, or is it like with the small town community college?
Yeah, it was definitely different. We luckily at South Mountain we've been in the playoffs for 9 years in a row, I think now. So it's a good high caliber playoff team. We always make it pretty deep. I think deep in the playoffs. We didn't this year, unfortunately, but it's definitely different coming from like a small 2A high school, which is in Arizona the second smallest division. A very small high school going to a bigger D1 JUCO. So it's definitely an adjustment, but I think it helped me a lot.
What are you majoring in college right now?
I am currently in music business.
Okay. Is music something that you've been interested in for a while?
For a while, so I originally wanted to do computer science, but the freshman math major was out of my league, and I didn't want to try and get into calculus for engineers. So I ended up going music business because it was a little bit easier. The more thing I like is like guy behind the sound booth, studio production, sort of like engineering sort of thing.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So like, is that something that you would push towards if, say, baseball weren't to work out? Would that be your second career choice, would you say?
Probably, yeah, something like that, or like maybe just like managing, like not managing a studio, but like maybe just like, because studio engineers, like guys who like mix stuff, like if I had enough training, they can make pretty good money doing that.
What is your favorite kind of music to listen to, or does it differ from what you like to listen to what you would more enjoy producing?
I pretty much, right now I'm listening to a lot of like guys like All Time Low and stuff, like the 2000s, 2010 punk rock, stuff like that. Just because it's a good feel and just like it's fun to like for like working out and stuff. It gets you going. But not really, honestly. That stuff's pretty cool to listen to, and I think it'd be fun to produce.
Yeah, well, we are now here in the MLB Draft League. Is this your first time traveling out to the East Coast to play baseball and kind of stay here permanently?
It's my first time to Maryland. I've been to Florida a lot, and I've been to New York a few times for like old tournaments like Cooperstown and stuff like that, but not in this area.
What was that like to play at Cooperstown and go to the Baseball Hall of Fame? Did you enjoy it?
It was really cool. I thought, honestly, when I was there when I was younger, I was like, Hall of Fame's kind of small. Like, I didn't expect it to be that small. It was still really cool. It was pretty compact. But that was really fun, and Cooperstown was definitely an experience. That was the first time I'd ever, like, stayed away with, that was actually, like, the first time I ever stayed with a team, like, off campus for that long, or away from family for that long.
Well, we're now here in Frederick, and you're away from your family. They were able to come see you in your first start, but how do you feel about Frederick so far? Are you getting to know the area a little better?
Yeah, I mean, I unfortunately don't have a car, so I've been driving with other people, but the area seems pretty nice. All the fans and stuff seem to be really loving the team and stuff now that we're getting some wins under our belt and things like that.
Are you more of someone that likes to live in the city or someone to be in the country and like mountains, that kind of thing?
Honestly, I don't really know. I haven't really been able to like put much thought to it. Maybe somewhere almost in between where it's like I'm close to both sort of thing, because I've been living in like suburbs with my family my whole life. So.
What was it like to be able to have your family come out and they saw you in your first start here with Frederick and you struck out 9 batters in that start? It was the highest mark for a starting pitcher so far this season, tied with Will Stevens, of course. But what was that like to be able to have your family here at the game?
It was great. It was really fun being able to finish the inning, walk off the mound, and see my parents clapping and cheering and stuff like that. Because obviously, 4 or 5 hour flight away, it's pretty cool because they want to be able to make sure they can make every game and stuff like that.
Well, and your dad was sitting behind home plate. He was able to grab a foul ball too. Were you on the mound when that happened, or were you in the dugout? I think that
was a foul ball or when I was in the dugout, because someone was like, "Dude, your dad just made like a sick catch," and I was like, "Oh, nice."
Yeah, he caught it on the fly. It was a nice grab by him. So, coming into the MLB draft, do you kind of have an idea of where you would like to be drafted or where you'd like to see your name called at all?
As early as possible, frankly. That's my goal, is just trying to be the best player in the league right now. That's my goal. That's what I'm working towards. So really, as early as possible, but I mean, it's a blessing in the way to get drafted.
Well, you throw the ball hard. When it comes to pitching at 97 miles an hour, are you worried about how hard you're actually throwing it, or is the adrenaline just flowing through you when you're pitching that you're not really considering how hard the ball's coming in?
It's interesting. It's an interesting mix now, because I used to like kind of not really care, but it's to the point now where I gotta know I'm throwing hard, but also just stay loose and just know that it's coming out at a good speed. It's more of a matter of like not dropping below like a certain speed and stuff, so I can keep it like at a higher velocity.
Well, you're a younger pitcher, and what kind of goes into what you do in pregame, and what is one piece of advice you'd give to a younger ball player who's listening right now that you might want to share with them that's worked for you over the years?
A lot of people tend to like get really serious and not want to talk to anybody when they start, but what I found works for me as a pitcher who has to stay loose and stuff to be really whippy is that just like staying loose and having fun pregame and stuff like that is what really helps me, because it's not like a matter of like losing focus rather than just like staying focused on what you're doing, but like having fun while you're doing it, because baseball is a game and you got to have fun.
Cool. Well, we are looking forward to seeing you have more fun here in Frederick and hopefully get your name called. Thank you for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks
we
for
really
having
appreciate
me.
it. Thank you so much to Ronan for joining us on today's edition of Unlocking the Keys. The big left-hander hoping to go early in the MLB draft this year, and we are looking forward to hearing his name called as well. We wish him the best of luck here from the Frederick Keys. That'll do it for today's episode, but don't forget to follow the Keys for everything social media on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram at Frederick Keys. And if you'd like to follow on TikTok, it is at Frederick Keys Baseball. If you'd like to follow myself, my Twitter handle is at JJ Michalski, JJ Michalski. You can see it right there below. And that'll do it for our 5th edition of Unlocking the Keys here in 2021. We will talk to you in just a couple of weeks, and if you tune into the radio broadcast, I'll talk to you later tonight, fans. Have a good one. We'll see you soon.